12 years. 12 years of illness, 12 years of isolation, 12 years of spending everything she had on people who could not help her. And then she heard he was coming. Mark introduces her without a name. He gives her a condition instead, a hemorrhage of blood 12 years long that no physician had been able to stop. We can read that as medical detail, but in first-century Jewish life, it was also a social sentence. Leviticus 15 is specific. A woman with a discharge of blood was ritually unclean, not sinful, not punished, unclean, which meant that everything she touched became unclean. Everyone she touched became unclean. She could not enter the temple. She could not move freely in public without risk of making others unclean simply by her presence. 12 years of this. Not just pain, not just poverty. Though Mark says she had spent everything she had and grown worse, not better. 12 years of being untouchable in a world that organized itself around touch, around community meals, Sabbath gatherings, the laying on of hands, the embrace of family. She had seen physician after physician. Mark says she had suffered much under many physicians, spent all that she had, and was no better, but rather grew worse. This is the woman who heard Jesus was coming to Capernaum. This is what she was carrying when she made her decision. She heard about Jesus and she came. That sentence is simple. What it required was not. To get to him, she had to move through a crowd of people she had no right to touch, in a public space she had no right to occupy, toward a rabbi she had no right to approach. Every person she brushed against became unclean by her touch. She knew this. She went anyway, and she had a theology, not a passive hope, a specific conviction. If I touch even his garments, I will be made well. Not if he touches me, not if he sees me and takes pity, not if someone asks on my behalf, if I touch his garments. She wasn't the only one seeking Jesus that day. A synagogue leader named Jairus had fallen at his feet and begged him to come. His daughter was dying. Jesus was already on his way to someone important, someone with a name, someone with a position. She did not ask for her turn. She did not call out. She did not wait. She reached. Through the crowd, through the noise, through every law that said she should not be there, she reached for the hem of his garment. And immediately, Mark uses that word, immediately, the hemorrhage stopped. She felt it in her body. She knew she was healed. And then Jesus stopped. In a pressing crowd, with a dying child waiting, with the synagogue leader's household counting every minute, he stopped. Who touched my garments? His disciples thought the question was almost absurd. You see the crowd pressing around you, and yet you say, "Who touched me?" Everyone was touching him. That was what crowds did. But he knew the difference between the press of a crowd and a touch with intention. Power had gone out from him. He had felt it. He looked around, and she came, trembling. Mark uses that word too. Knowing what had happened to her, knowing she had been seen, she fell before him and told him the whole truth. The whole truth. Not just the touch, the 12 years, the physicians, the money, the growing worse, everything. And he did not address the uncleanness. He did not rebuke her for pressing through the crowd. He did not correct her for touching him without permission. He said, "Daughter, daughter." The only person in all 4 Gospels Jesus addresses this way. "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your disease." Not just healed, at peace. The Greek word, shalom's equivalent, wholeness, completeness, everything restored. She is never named. Matthew tells this story. Mark tells this story. Luke tells this story. None of them give her a name. The early church felt the absence. In the West, she was given the name Veronica. In the East, Berenice. Later traditions added more. But the gospel text itself withholds the name. Deliberately or not, we cannot say. What the text does give her is a full story, her history, her suffering, her decision, her theology, her act, her fear, her honesty, her healing, her name from his mouth, daughter, The absence of a name is not the absence of dignity. She has been known for 2,000 years by what she did and what was done for her. And that perhaps is its own kind of naming. So we return to the question we opened with. She broke every purity law in the book, and Jesus called her daughter. The crowd pressed him from every side. They touched him constantly, shoulders, arms, garments, the ordinary contact of a moving crowd, and nothing happened. She touched the hem of his garment once, in desperation, in faith, with everything she had left, and power went out from him. The difference was not proximity, it was not even touch. It was intention, faith, need, and the word he chose, daughter, was not incidental. In a world that had classified her as a source of uncleanness, as someone whose touch contaminated rather than connected, he used the word that put her back inside the family, back inside the community, back inside the story. She came to him as someone the law had placed outside. She left as someone he had placed inside, with a word that no law had the power to take back. If this episode gave you something to carry, share it with someone who would receive it. And if you are watching for the first time, Hagar, Zipporah, Mary Magdalene, the woman at the well, Deborah, are waiting for you. Subscribe to She Is Written so you don't miss what comes next. Next episode, we stay in the Old Testament with a woman who rode out alone to stop a massacre and succeeded. She is written. The women of Scripture, seen again.